Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, joined by Baker. Evening, mate. How are you?
It's not been the greatest weekend as a Spurs owner that plays FPL.
Yeah.
Pretty bad weekend. Pretty bad weekend for it. But hey, it's another one in the bank. Tick him off.
Well, that's it. So,
We
like, game week 9 done now. It's almost a quarter of the way through. So it's basically
and
like the quarter mark, basically.
yeah,
So yeah, at least it feels like it's going to be a long season, just because you feel like you keep getting punched each week.
yeah, you do feel like you're getting punched each week. I had a look at something earlier. So obviously, a lot of engagement, a lot of people on FPL Twitter, a lot of just people in general are wild carded now. Like,
Yeah.
that's very, very common. Um, and one of the things a lot of people did when they wild carded was like, oh, we don't want Martin Haaland anymore, do we? We don't want Martin Haaland. What percent do you reckon in the top 100K own Mo and Haaland?
In the top 100k, about 15%.
43.
43%.
Do you know where it goes down to under 40%?
No, like half mil,
900K.
900k.
I started thinking about the fact of like if you own Haaland, you then get like last 3 weeks, obviously, not own if you own and captain Haaland as we've done, you just got punched because because Mo punched you, and some of those
Yeah.
people get Mo, and then the other way around, like today is we've got Haaland and that's happened, but when Mo hits, it hurts so bad, and you're like, how is this still 50%? I don't understand. I don't see 50% of people on Twitter with Mo in their team.
It's because all the people on Twitter are doing crap.
The
We're all
top
doing rubbish.
900K, but you go down to even 3 million in my lovely world,
Yeah.
it's still 35%.
It's mad.
It's
Like,
still
are they
one in
bidding
three
off
people
Trent?
have got both.
Is this because they haven't got Trent? I mean, I'm sure they're not
It's
on Porro.
it's that you fill the rest around it. Like that's all they've done. It's stick it in, fill the rest around it. It kind of works.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Like
frustrating.
the talk out there already for this week is like, yeah, do people take out Haaland, put Mo in, and do that stuff? Mo and Haaland hasn't gone wrong.
Yeah, that's
It
true.
continues to be a fantastic way. Over 40% have got both.
Yeah, that's a tough battle every week.
So if you're in the top million, like, well played. If you're in the top million and you haven't got Mo and Haaland, well played. You really fought the title.
But
But
then they can't. I mean, I'm just trying to think of the players they can't have this 40%. I mean, they must, like everyone else must just have a Saka, or a
what?
Palmer, or a Trent,
Who's on our thumbnail, mate?
or a Chris Wood.
They've got Chris Wood.
Or a Chris Wood. Everyone's got Chris Wood. Chris
Morgan
Wood's like
Rogers.
20%.
Morgan Rogers is just ticked away. They've probably got Pickford in goal.
Yeah,
Um, there's been lots of good cheap players. They've got Bumo.
of course.
He doesn't require a lot of things
And they
before.
probably just looked at this week and we just went, I'll just get Wissa.
Yeah.
Because
I
that's,
mean, it's when you look at the combinations and you start saying, right, top 100K. Um, someone just asked in the chat how many of them have Wood as well. Let me answer you that question live on stream. Let me start it with how many. So how many in the top 100K have Mo, Haaland, and Wood? 15%.
because that's all. Well, I
15%.
mean, Chris Wood, I think Chris Wood in my, he was like
Yeah.
20% owned or something like that.
He's
Where,
31. He's 31.9% owned of the top 100K. One
yeah.
in three. But when you consider that his overall ownership, that's a huge amount for a player like Chris Wood.
Oh my God, yes.
Huge amount. Huge amount.
Yeah.
But yeah, I suddenly thought to myself as I took that beating late on from Mo, because it literally changes our week, doesn't it? Green arrow to suddenly red.
Yeah. I was
Done.
I was basically grey, and then Palmer and Mo came along and just smacked me down.
Yeah,
But the two of them just like bang bang. Thanks very much.
bang bang. Thanks very much. See you later. Not thank you for coming.
Yeah.
And
I listed a full load of things wrong with my team, and they are bad, and we can go through those when we look at scores and stuff like that. But there's a long list of things that need to change. I feel like they need to change, and I really hate not having a wild card right now.
Damn right.
Should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
Cool. So game week scores. I'll start with myself. 50 points. Martinez on 2, Trent 1, Porro 2, Lewis 6, Gabriel 1, McNeil 2, Rogers 1. So it's going well so far. Mbeumo 15. Thanking you. I had Eze come in, obviously for Son, so he got 6. Solanke 2, and then Haaland cap 12. So 50 points, pretty crap. I think my safety was like 62. So yeah, just a bit rubbish, to be honest. I've got problems with Son being injured, João Pedro being injured. I've got Johnston, who's nowhere to be seen. I've got McNeil potentially injured, Gabriel potentially injured. I've still got Eze. I've got Solanke, who doesn't shoot. I've got Tottenham defender who doesn't clean. I've got Martinez, who concedes in the 97th minute. I've got Trent, who doesn't do anything anymore. And I've got 15.5 million of Haaland. It's like, what do I do? And Rogers now getting taken off in like the 55th minute for Duran. Like, just go screw this. We're going Duran and Watkins up top. I'm just taking you off, Morgan. Thanks very much. Like, there's so much now.
We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah,
we got a lot to talk about. And you're at 1.3 million. I'm at 3.5 million.
Yeah,
but.
This is me last year as well, so I know exactly what you feel like.
I love the fact that Fabianski scored 3 points today. He got the surprise thing. When Raya has got 4 points in 4 weeks.
Yeah, there was I think it was FPL Oakwell who tried to do some bench wankery and played Fabianski over Raya and won.
Fucking elite.
And won.
Maybe that's the way.
So shout out to you, FPL Oakwell, for that.
That's unbelievable. So Raya, 0-pointer. I didn't even see him get booked. I didn't even see that happen. But hey, Gabriel. I saw the old online physios. Grade 1, possible grade 2 sprain of the MCL.
Whatever. Whatever. I haven't even looked.
Yeah.
Who cares?
So grade 1, they said 1 to 3 weeks. International breaks in 2 weeks time?
Yeah, so we're back after the international break. It's standard. They're we can talk about that later, but like they're falling a little bit on defenders at the moment.
John McKenzie broke them. Basically, John McKenzie came on our pod, said that they've been unbelievably lucky with injuries, and ever since all they've done is get injuries. So if anyone's an Arsenal fan wants to blame someone, go tap up John. Mikalenko and Lewis obviously were rubbish. Palmer today, Palmer 10 points and a VAR penalty off and a VAR goal off. That wasn't particularly enjoyable as it could be. Rogers is a problem. Semenyo comes on for Son. I mean, look, what you have to say is tell yourself on this, for me and you, this is a triple captain week, and we had 10 million quid not play. That's almost impossible to have good weeks when it's in a triple captain week and and he had a £10 million player not play. Like that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. You make me feel a little bit better.
And then hey, I can make you feel even more better because I've got Calvert-Lewin up front.
Well, that's a positive for me.
Yeah. I mean, Ain't Nori second on the bench. Ain't Nori goes. I mean, what a few minutes. Obviously, Ain't Nori goes from a 0-pointer to a 6-pointer in the last minute. Kuna goes from a blank to a 9-pointer.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. And Ain't Nori's just been smashing out points last few weeks. He's just smashing them out. But like first shot, 1 goal. Yeah.
89th minute. Thanks very much. I was on a 0 point. It was on a 0-pointer because they conceded 2 and he already got booked.
Yeah. I mean, it's just but every time you feel like he shoots, you feel like he's going to score. He's got that.
Yeah.
He's got that Chilwell about him, that Marcus Alonso about him.
Really, really
just
good.
Just like pure strike. Yeah,
Yeah,
just no nonsense.
it is. It is a lot of Chilwell, isn't it?
Mm.
I mean, yeah, like you say, we've got all these problems, and actually, what we haven't faced into so far is a Lewis rotation either. Like if that happens,
Yeah, then team's dead. I mean, team's basically dead, but team's
jeez.
dead.
Yeah. We've got to be thinking. So Paul O'Keefe tweeted and said that it was more of a rest for Son this week. He actually used the word rest. Is they could have potentially played him, but it was a rest. I mean, I
Really?
feel
I
that
feel
feels
worse.
insane. But I'm almost like, is it? So were they resting him this week because they wanted to play against Man City? But you're like, with a hamstring problem, he's not going to Man City and then the weekend. That feels
Yeah, it feels stupid.
horrendous.
Yeah, yeah, agreed.
Um,
But there we are. We can talk more about this in a bit. But
yeah.
that's where we are. So
Let's get the admin done, mate.
get the admin done. Hello to everyone in the YouTube chat. Hope some of you had a good game week. If you did hit the triple captain chip, let us know. Tough. Well, no, we'll go through City, but that's tough, unlucky. All those things. Look, we captained Haaland. We wanted Haaland to score points, so it is what it is. Yeah, a bit unfortunate. And if you are watching and you do like what we do, then make sure you drop a like on a video. And if you want to see more from us, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're listening on a podcast, hit the comment review button. Give us 5 stars. All do that. All good stuff. Good stuff. I've said it so many times I can't get my words out now. And where am I next? Oh yeah, league updates. So we'll move on to the league updates. So 2 leagues. So the public league, the league code is MGORK2. That is open till the end of game week 19, when it will be shut. At the moment, Peaky Grinders 2, Mongeze Mwele is winning that one, 654 points. Didn't have a look at that rank, but that seems pretty high. Seeing as it's about 100 points more than me, or 120 points more than me, or something like that, or maybe even more than that.
You crack on, I'll find out.
Cool. Oakley Dokley, Ski Card in second, 651. Skitaways, Skito Pascal, third with 650. Freezer, which is Grant Freer, with 642. And the Lord of the Ings, Chris Costa, with 640 points in fifth. And anybody who's watching on the YouTube, you can see the rest of the top 10. Heading over to the Discord where our patrons are. So, Saka Potatoes, Yogesh, he is leading us with 602 points. Cole Palmeiras and Donis is 595 points. Los Poros Hermanos, Mark Brignall, 593. Blink 182. I love that. Connor Kelly, 584 points. And Salmon Canyon, Alex Holcomb, 572 points. And now you're going to tell me what rank Mongeze Mwele is, aren't you?
I'm going to tell you that 299.
Yes. 299th. That is massive.
Do you want to read his team out?
Go for
it. Sanchez in goal.
Okay.
He started this week, Dina, and benched Trent and Aït-Nouri.
Okay.
He had Son sitting on his bench. He started FaZe. He started Wout FaZe over Trent and Aït-Nouri. Mbeumo, McNeil, Palmer, Bowen, Wissa, Nico Jackson, and Watkins up top.
Jesus
no
Christ.
Haaland, no Salah.
no Saka.
No Saka.
Just doesn't give a shit. Just 300th in the world. Just chilling with Palmer.
Absolute monster. Fair play.
Amazing. Cool. So, yep. Shout out to all of you guys, and thank you to all of our patrons. You can support us over there at patreon.com/aboveaveragefpl. That gives you access to the Discord where we have different kind of chats, and we're chatting all the way up to the deadline in there. Some games, things like Last Man Standings, FPL Blackjacks, which is not actually blackjack, but like FPL style. And also we have Beat Baker as well. We have
the easiest game in FPL. The easiest way you can win anything in FPL is every month on the monthly total. If you beat me, you go into a draw. I mean, thank goodness it's a draw and not everybody who finishes above me gets it, because otherwise that would be the end of us pretty soon. Gets a bottle of Never Say Die whiskey, about 80-90 quid. Lovely bourbon. We've only got we've got another 3 left after this, one for each month. But yeah, there's quite a lot of people into that. You got to be in the UK to do it. We're not shipping. It's a very heavy bottle and it's booze and all that stuff, so we're not shipping that overseas.
Yeah. So October beat the Baker. How many did we say there were? Like 30. There were 40 odd, I think.
Yeah,
40 odd that beat you this month. There's only 50 in the league.
Everybody.
There's 50 in the league and like 41 beat you. So if there's a little mini drum roll, whatever, we can reveal that the whiskey winner this month was Dan Sweeney. So Dan, just drop us a message in Discord and we will arrange it to be. I don't need to even actually. I've already sent you coasters and stuff. So I'll send your address to Baker. Baker will send you the whiskey. Well done to you. Good work. We also said we were going to do a giveaway for mugs today, so let's go and do that. So sent a tweet out earlier on. So if you're watching and you want to go and quickly tweet this and go and do that, then you've got about 30 seconds until I refresh it. So yeah, let's give about 30 seconds. So then we can get on to get onto the games.
What we're gonna do? First game.
First game. Gonna
go straight into Chris Wood?
Might as well. It's Friday night.
Friday night game.
Friday night, Chris Wood, and then we can rip band-aids and talk about how bad Tottenham were and all that sort of stuff. So Erky mentions as well there is a Manager of the Month contest as well, which he puts a nice winky smiley face there because he won this month. So he will be October's Manager of the Month. Little poker chip, little above average Manager of the Month poker chip is heading.
He's so good, Erky.
I mean, he won about 4 of them last year.
It's disgusting.
So yeah, let's get this going. So okay, let's just put this tweet into here, and let's see if I can remember how to do this. And there's gonna be 3 winners. So
we're giving away 3 mugs tonight.
3 mugs, mate. 3 mugs. I haven't given away anything in ages, mate. To be honest. So there are your 3 winners. So Liverpool 30, FPL Mikey, and Frazzle Spur. I'll send you a message. And each of you get a mug. So well done to you guys. Well done to you guys. Nice and easy.
Mikey, fellow son of a gun, SKLW.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is he? Nice. Okay, so let's go over to. Is there anything else I need to do? I don't think so.
No. Just get in the games. Let's go.
Just get in the games. Chris Wood. Okay, so Leicester 1, Nottingham Forest 3. Yeah, I mean, this game went better for Forest than I expected to. I mean, I expected it to be sort of a bit fiery. It kind of was to start with, which kind of shows with players making mistakes and all sorts of stuff. And then the big man steps up, basically, just takes control of the situation and just says, "This is mine. This is what I do."
I think Forest are just a really functional team, don't you? Like when you look at that, when you consider like start of the season, it looked like they were going to play 2 holders in. Who's the guy who got injured? I can't remember that guy who got injured. Mangala, yeah. Mangala and Sangare, wasn't it? They were the two sitters that were there, and then both got injured. And you look at it now, and you've got sort of 3 in midfield in Anderson, Yates, and Dominguez, and they all get forward. They're all like they're none of them are sitters. Then you play Alanga and Hudson-Odoi out wide, so you've really got 5 people getting on, and that for me makes a big difference between Wood and the rest of the other cheapos. Effectively, is that when you've got more of a functional team, doesn't feel like he's isolated, isn't it? We've talked about at times about like he's quite peripheral to the game in some ways.
Yeah.
But that's not that much different to Haaland, is it?
No.
Like he's got the functional people around him all doing the stuff. So, and the more they function, the better it is for him. The less they function, actually, he just is a guy just standing there. But this team, you know, obviously Woods will get all the plaudits for it, but it's actually just a really good team.
I mean, it's helped.
Fantastic
I think
at home.
It definitely helps. It definitely helps that they've had like little pockets of good fixtures, especially at the start, that's allowed them to build some momentum and actually sort of get used to how to play with each other properly. And it's definitely paying off. I mean, They are what, fifth in the league, sixth in the league. Like,
Yeah,
it's mad. It's mad.
it's Nuno ball, and it's good ball, and
We
I
weren't
mean,
saying
even
that when Nuno managed us, were we?
yeah, but even like the guys that always come on, so like Jota Silva comes on and Sosa comes on, and they're annoying for people. When those
Yeah.
two come on as like the replacement for the two wingers, it means that those guys just go the whole game. And obviously, you know, Wood goes for as Wood goes for as long as it can.
We.
Um, and then with sort of 10 minutes to go or so, Taiwo will come on and finish the game off. But that they're just like, you don't have any qualms about them as a team. The manager's got utter faith in him.
Yeah.
What more could you ask for?
I mean, the fixtures are still there as well. They're still okay. The fixtures are
Even
still okay. I mean, yes, they go away to Arsenal and City, but you just find reasons. If you want to, you can just find reasons to bench him in those 2 weeks, and you've just got a really nice run of fixtures. Like,
you
it's really
fancy you'll
good.
score every other game no matter what, won't you?
Yeah, yeah. We were talking about it last week. Like, those strikers that used to just tick over. Like, you've got him here.
Yeah.
He's him. He is him.
Literally,
Literally, he is him. Right, he's coming in this week. Like, I don't even give a shit, man. He's like West Ham at home. Yeah, he's just coming in.
Is he?
Well, yeah, Solanke has to go. It just literally has to go. I can't have a guy that scores. I can't have a guy that scores more goals than Solanke shoots. Like, it's just so fucking stupid. Like, imagine picking a striker that scores more, that shoots less than a guy that scores. Like, it's stupid. It is so dumb. It's so dumb. Like, honestly, if Son's not fit, like, I could see myself binning all three Spurs this week. Genuinely could.
I mean, we're gonna have to go talk to Tottenham next. We're gonna have to just put God, we will have to do that.
Mate,
but
I am so reactionary when it comes to Spurs anyway. But
that's it. We're off, are we?
We're off. Chris Wood.
Get him in.
Everyone else, who cares? It doesn't really matter. Like, you're not picking any Leicester players. If you've got Vardy, well done. Then, like, if you've got Mavadidi, then give him another week next week, and then just send him on his way, and off you go. Like, that's about the story of those. Just otherwise, get Chris Wood. Like,
well, we got a few as we go through this. So and we'll need to talk about, for like example, Kuna and all of those type of guys, because they'll be popular. So
yeah, but I've got Solanke and João Pedro. Like, for me,
we've got plenty to move.
Loads to move.
We've got plenty to move.
Palace versus Spurs. I would argue this is one of the worst games I've watched Spurs play this season, and we've had a couple of stinkers already, but just everything didn't quite feel right. Now, I'm not blaming it on this, but, and I don't know whether anyone's picked this up, but this is going to sound absolutely terrible, but I'm going to say it anyway. Did you see how much they watered the pitch before the start of the game? And did you see, like, how when the ball came down and bounced in the first 5-10 minutes, like, it almost was like casual water on a golf course?
Yeah, and
you noticed that? I was just like, well, that seems a bit odd. I mean, I know home team advantage and all that. Take your advantages, do that sort of stuff. I mean, if that was part of the reason, I'm not saying it is. We were bad, admittedly, but, fair play to Palace for setting up the game the way they wanted to.
It wasn't just even that. Like, that was the case, but also that there is a thing about Tottenham where people just know, they are lads, it's Tottenham. This couldn't have felt more like a lads, it's Tottenham. They were so hard in the challenge. I haven't seen them hard in the challenge in any game this season.
I think part of that was Chalobah just going straight in on Mikey Moore first challenge, because, like, you get the kid snapped in half.
Yeah, Will Hughes was like, as soon as he came in, it was like, I'm kicking everyone. Like I couldn't believe in that second half. I was like, somebody's got to get sent off at some point here. Like, it was so niggly, and they did the number. They did an absolute number on us in this, in which was a really low quality game, just in general around a really, really low quality game. But the biggest place, they just squeezed us out the goal kicks. Like, it's well, let's show this, because this is the most ridiculous stat I've ever seen. So Tottenham lost the ball in their own third 49 times.
Yeah.
49 times.
Yeah, which is clearly the most of any Premier League team this season.
7 which led to a shot, all in the area where we have 4 players, obviously, across the back in Destiny, in Mickey, in Romero, and Porro. I mean, Mickey and Destiny are comfortably the worst passers out of those 4. They're the ones where if you can turn it over with them, you can really run at them. And that's exactly what they did for us. Like, all 7 shots are from that side.
Yeah, and the goal comes from down there as well. The goal comes from that one that's in the box, actually. The one that he loses in the box.
It's a really big problem, losing the ball in your final third. In order to play out from the back, one is you need enough people to show for the ball. And Mikey Moore and Brent, I think Brennan Johnson was a huge problem for us today. Not a small, but like a huge problem. Like we watched, obviously, Salah this afternoon, and Salah, we watched him play with really limited. He had limited amount on the ball. Obviously, he had his chance at the end, but other than that, he was limited. But you didn't see him go, well, I'm going to go and play up top. I'm going to go and get in the way. I'm going to go and do stuff. Like, he stays there. He knows it. He waits for his chance. He plays for the team. He does the right stuff. Brennan just didn't stay on his wing. And then if your winger doesn't stay in your wing and you're playing out from the back, there's no out ball.
Yeah.
You want, when the pressure is going to be there, the worst thing is that you can go long. As bad as we hate Timo Werner, he's always an out ball for that left-hand side. So the last couple of games where you've had Timo Werner, what you would have is somebody that, if you're struggling a bit, just go long. You even saw it a little bit when he came on at the end. They did have that ability to go to him down the side and get him behind. As a team, they have to use the wingers, and Son knows it. Son is incredibly disciplined in how much he stays in that touchline until he has a reason to come off it, and he only comes off it in a sustained area of pressure. He doesn't come off it when they're in defence. Mikey Moore and Brennan Johnson did not do that today, and it made a massive problem for everyone behind them. And then when they lose the ball, Maddison and Kulusevski was just trying to get sent off in the end by just fouling everybody. But the reason why he's having to foul everybody is because he's trying to have to do 2 people's jobs on that right-hand side.
Yeah,
Brennan is a big problem when he's doing that. And obviously, if he gets in the way of the centre forward, then also the centre forward then doesn't know what he's doing. Dom just doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't know what his role is. He's got no idea what his role is.
Yeah.
That's
frustrating.
It's so frustrating because it's like, this is a big Ange problem more than anything else. It's like, this is a manager problem. This is a stubbornness. This is a player that's trying to manager's still trying to do the things he wants to do, but it requires perfection. And as soon as one player starts doing bad stuff, you're like, well, that's it. You're in trouble. It's not right. Like,
I don't think we've got the fixtures. I don't think we've got the fixtures in the next 3 or 4.
Well, we've got Ipswich at home, haven't we?
We have, but then Ipswich
Villa at home is a fantastic fixture. It's still a fantastic fixture. We can't say it's not a good fixture. Like, it potentially is a brilliant fixture for attackers. Has been a brilliant fixture many, many times. It's also a brilliant fixture for Villa attackers.
Yeah.
Like Watkins and Rodgers next week. Fuck.
Yeah.
They could turn us over for fun. Emery's smart as hell, man. Like, he's going to be looking at this and thinking, yeah, I'm doing them next week.
Yeah.
Son is everything. for us.
So hopefully then he is back next week. Well, I mean, do we see?
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, it's all going to depend on what we see on Tuesday, right? Is it Tuesday? We must be playing Wednesday. Surely
I think
playing
it's
today.
Wednesday. Yeah.
We must be playing Wednesday against City.
Wednesday against Man City.
So that'll be interesting to see what that team looks like. Whether it is kind of just to rip it up and second string it like we expect City to as well.
Mm. Or does he go because if he goes full on with that team in midweek, you're like, God, I am not looking forward to Villa next weekend.
But as a fan, you're like, oh, good, he's focusing on the competitions. Like he's focusing on the trophy bits. He's made a bed for himself with that second season thing, isn't he?
Let's face the facts. Like Carabao and Europa now, that's his way of standing a job.
Yeah, true. Probably is. Yeah, because
because
we're just way too
like
inconsistent. Yeah, way too inconsistent in the league. Because to go from 1 week, like even in games where we're creating like 1.5 to 2 xg in games gone by, we've looked exciting. We've looked at least. Like one of the things, even when we're not creating loads, is we dominate the ball to a point where it looks boring as hell. Whereas this wasn't even this. Like we just didn't have any of it, and nor did Palace. It was just a bit bitty and just a bit crap. And like we had a couple of chances, I can't even remember a clear chance though. Johnson?
Johnson's
XG comes because he gets hit against him. Like literally get punted against him, and the commentator I was listening to was like, "Yep, he made a striker's movement towards it." Bullshit, he did. He just hit him, and then it hits the post.
There was a moment. I think it was just before the goal where there must have been about 8 or 9 missed passes in a row, back and forth. It was literally like they passed to us, we passed to them. They passed to us, we passed to them. They passed. This was just a really bad game, but it was. From a Tottenham perspective, going behind away from home, like we've been behind away from home many, many times at home, and we've come back. The crowd helps, the stadium helps, the size of the pitch helps, all of it. Those things happen. When we concede away from home,
especially here at Palace.
Yeah, because they know they've got us.
Well, yeah, I mean, you go to a load of home grounds and you get some noise for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes after a goal because everyone's upbeat. This lot will sing for about 15 or 20, and it like really kills you.
Like at half time, I thought this was going to be 3-0. I didn't think we were going to come back and win 2-1. I thought this was going to be 3-0.
Yeah,
that's pretty damning.
Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
So let's FPL it now. So
yeah.
Not feeling. I mean, you say they're not feeling great on Johnson, but 3 shots. He had pretty high XG chance in there because he was in the box in the right place.
Yeah,
probably okay. Son obviously hold, wait and see. What's the vibe on Porro now? Because for me, it feels like as soon as you can get the opportunity to, like there's so many other fires and there's so many not good enough defenders that I'm like, well, I'll just leave him there because it's just leave him. But he does still shoot. Like he does still come out and shoot. I just hate having him there now, but there just feels like, I mean, I've listed my problems, man. There's too many problems that people have got. Like if you've got like everything else is a priority over Porro, I think. Like if you've got,
I think there'll be people buy Porro this week.
Okay, why?
I think if it turns out Gabriel's out for 6-7 weeks, people just look at the next couple of weeks at home and think, yeah, that's the right thing to do. Yeah, but they won't. They'll look at it and go, maybe I'll buy Porro again. Yeah. I do think. Yeah, I don't understand why Maddison came back in for Saar.
It didn't quite work, did it? And it was weird though because I don't know whether in this game, again because I'm going to blame the pitch, but whether somebody mentioned it in the chat actually, the amount of times that players were going down injured at the end of the game and cramped up because the pitch was pretty heavy, which you don't get. Yeah. You don't get heavy pitches in Premier League football. They don't exist because they're all perfect and all this sort of stuff. So I don't know whether maybe his legs would have been better earlier on to give us a bit more running power. Maybe that was what we needed because we weren't able to stretch him at all. Solanke for me is a straight sell. Like just find a way to move him to someone else. Like Cunha's there, Wood's there, Raul's there. Just pick someone. Pick someone and sell him.
Yeah.
He's had like 0.1 XG in 3 games.
Yeah, I do think there is people where they'll be looking at their teams and they'll have the ability, for example, to sell Solanke down to like a Strand Larson or something like that, and then enables them to get Salah in this week. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it does depend a little bit on what you could do with that money. Do I think he's urgent to sell? I still don't think he's urgent to sell for these next 2 home games. But I do think
I think I honestly think any striker that's not shooting needs to be sold.
Yeah.
But
like, it depends how luxurious your position is, mate. Like, we've got a long list.
I know, but striker that doesn't shoot feels pretty high.
Of course it does.
I'm sticking on that. I think it's just too high. I just think it's too important to have a striker that shoots.
Yes. I don't think anybody can deny that.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody can deny that. But I do also look at it and say, next 2 games are at home. Next 2 games, and there needs to be a reaction.
Yeah.
Now, what if that reaction is playing with Richarlison?
It might be. It might. Yeah.
Because that's also the possibility, isn't it? The longer your striker doesn't do what they're supposed to be doing, do you eventually do something else with him?
Is he not doing what he's supposed to be doing? That's the question. Like, I guess that's the question.
I think we bought him to score.
Oh, we did, yeah. Goals. No, but I mean Ange. Like, I
think Ange bought him to score some goals too.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think we still want a striker to score goals.
Okay, cool. Right, we need to move on from here, otherwise people are going to start switching off.
Well, it's definitely, there's a lot of people with him. There's a lot of people that are going to be thinking that. There's a lot of people thinking about Porro. There's a lot of people thinking, what do you do?
Yeah.
On Solanke, like, it's a genuine. Yeah, if you haven't got any other problem, if your team looks fantastic, so you've already got Wood, for example, if you've got Haaland, Wood, and Solanke, yeah, get him gone.
Yeah. Let's talk Haaland. Because as we've already said, as people did triple captain him after 15 minutes, or after 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, everyone's sitting there looking at 15 points on their screens on their old live FPL maps. And it should have been more. However, they did create a lot of big chances for Haaland, but they were pockets of space where there was a lot of players around him all the time. This looks like a complete like it looks like Haaland's basically like run through every time and missed chances and stuff. It wasn't like that. He didn't find himself in a lot of space, and Savio was good. I thought Nunez was good as well, but he didn't have too many what I would call clear-cut chances. Like, not on his own. Like, his positioning was good, but yeah.
I mean, I was wondering before we saw this, of whether this would have a paddle-in marker for the game, and if it did, I was going to say, I don't think this was a paddle-in. Like, there he is. There's gone. I mean, Southampton have 42% possession.
Yeah, a lot of the ball.
People. I saw people sharing the old pass map of the cradle from Man City and the defense. That the interesting thing about the pass map, for anyone that saw it, that's why Mark our stat spot's the best for it, is because he puts the little minutes where it's done. And City's pass map was quite a long time. It was like the first 78 minutes because Pep doesn't make subs.
Yeah.
But actually, Southampton's was only the first half. And when they sat nice and compact in that first half, especially considering they conceded an early goal, they did a good job.
Yeah.
And that break, which is the bit just before half time, the break, it almost paid in a good break. The second they had a chance to run at them, Archer was straight through. And they could have gone in 1-1. and they'd have done exactly the job. Second half, they tried to open up, made a few changes, and the more they tried to open up, the more they tried to play, the more they tried to push forward. And guess what? You end up with more chances going the other way. But like you say, it was still relatively isolated. It was still, reliant on Savio and Foden to spam crosses in. I think I think between them they put like 18 crosses in between Foden and Savio. Foden had quite a lot of set pieces. But I mean, Savio gets top bonus here without return.
Yeah.
In a 1-0. So with everyone with a clean and a striker scoring. But he did everything you'd want him to do. 5 key passes, 2 big chances, 7 crosses, 6 dribbles.
Yeah.
He's pretty important, I would say, in that team right now. Foden was, when the lineup came out, obviously Foden played central. So he took the role that Gundo. Gundo's been playing for them. I thought that'd be really good for him. But it just felt busy. You know what I mean? Wherever he was, obviously, at the end, he had one breakaway where he put the ball through to Foden, put the ball through to Haaland, and good save from Ramsdale. But bar that and a snatch shot, which is almost the same shot as what he scored in midweek. It's a shot he often does, but it's still a 20-odd yard shot. It's not a given. Other than that, I mean, Haaland over 2x. Haaland, this is exactly what you want from Haaland, isn't it? Is that they get over 2xg and that he gets 3/4 of it.
Yeah, every time.
That's exactly what you want from him. It's pretty hefty. We asked our friend Mr. John McKenzie, earlier, because he has a love affair with Iriola, about how does he think Haaland will do at Bournemouth next week. What was his words? Eviscerated.
Eviscerated was the word. Yeah. He said they usually.
That was the word he used about Iriola versus Pep.
Yeah. So you want to sell Haaland this week? Maybe not.
It's a tough sell.
I mean, it's always going to be a tough sell.
It's always going to be a tough sell.
Because if they pick up, exactly this. If they pick up another 2xg, then he gets heavily involved. Yeah,
I mean, let's do Villa Bournemouth. Let's move to them because it's who they've got up next. Villa have not been achieving big numbers in the attack for a number of weeks. And they got on a media bump playing Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Not a small bump either. It's a big old chunky bump for them. Like 1.8 consistent number of shots. We've talked about before, but they sort of almost continually leave their centre backs as just on their own. And Kirkes and Smith just provide no cover. It relies on Lewis Cook dropping in. They're at home. I wouldn't be surprised if City knocked 5 past them next week. I really wouldn't. I also wouldn't be surprised if somehow Bournemouth won. Because they're an okay team. But yeah, man.
They've got to be better than this, though. They've got to be better than this if they're gonna put anything on City.
Yeah,
because they can't go there, and I mean most teams will have to smash and grab, but it'll be very difficult, I think, for them to really kind of just put up 0.2 xg and then or 0.3 xg and then think they'll walk away with any points. I just can't see it happening.
What happened last season when Bournemouth played Man City?
I think they lost like 6-0 or something like that. Doku had 5 returns in the first 25 minutes.
God, imagine if you sold Doku. Imagine if you sold Doku last.
It was game week 10. I think it was game week 10 or game week 11 last year.
And then it's Haaland.
Game week. Yeah, can you imagine that back-to-back seasons? Imagine that
God.
back-to-back seasons. That'd be bad. That
How do you
would
feel
be
about
bad.
it? Because we talked about on the Thursday the team selection, just on that piece of potentially selling Haaland to get Mo. I mean, the really obvious move that a million people are going to do is Wood or Kuna for Haaland, and then move one of your cheapies up to Salah, isn't it? That's the obvious move that a lot of people are going to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Whether it's using freeze, whether it's for a hit, whatever it is, but there's a lot of people that are definitely going to look at that.
if I don't, the only way I think I can get to Salah without Haaland is selling Trent. That feels a bit yuck, to be honest. And I can do it. But it does feel a bit yuck. And yeah, I'm just not sure about it. Whether I'll sell Haaland this week, I don't know. I've got so many problems. I feel like maybe just sitting on my hands might be a better idea. It's either sit on my hands or take like a -12. It's there's no in between, I don't think.
It's tough though, isn't it? And I mean, I feel exactly the same position where actually I think, God, I think probably the right thing for me to do is sit on my hands. But also I want to take a -8 and just rip a load of players out.
The problem is the game week 12 change, right? The game week 12 change where Arsenal's fixtures spike up, Chelsea's fixtures spike up. That's going to be a big one. Even like Brighton's fixtures spike up, so you can pick up someone there.
Yeah.
So really, unless Liverpool fixtures are good. They're really good. In fact, Liverpool's fixtures are good now, and then they've got obviously City in 13 and Newcastle away in 14. So those two games are kind of a little bit sticky where you might want to go the other way. So it might be just Salah for 3 weeks, in which case you might just do the move now and then come back into Haaland in 14, for example. That might be the way. It might be the way.
Yeah. I think there's a window to move off Haaland, and it's probably now. And there's also another window. I think it comes around about game week 15.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, we talk about 40% of the game. 40% of the game, or the 40% of the top 100K have both Mo and Haaland. That means 60% don't, right? That does mean 60% of the game in the top 100K don't have both of them.
Both is a lot, mate. Like that's a lot of people with both.
Yeah, but 60% don't. So the majority of people don't have Mo and Haaland in the top 100K. So
yeah. I'm not saying that's not, but in my mind, I thought that number would be like 90% of the people didn't have both.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough.
When I asked you, you went 15%. Like that was immediate off your head. And
true.
That I'd have been the same.
Yeah, true.
Not that way.
True. No, I think I still have to be one or the other. I don't think I can make both work in my mind. Because even
we've got too many changes to make to do it.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, even if I look at like Palace and I'm like, well, Eze, still got him. McNeil, just about to play Southampton. Or Ipswich. What are they? Oh no, who have they got this week? Everton, Southampton.
You can probably do it on a -8. I can probably do it on a -8.
I can probably do it on a -8 is never how you should start a week, ever. It's never how you should start.
I guess it depends how much you want to captain Mo Salah. Let's go back to Villa. Let's go back to Villa Bournemouth. So, Villa, Rodgers. So I think the interesting thing is obviously Ross Barkley comes on at half-time for Onana. And when Ross Barkley came on, I was like, oh, because that's a very different profile of player to Onana. That's suddenly a guy that's going to get in the way of Rodgers a little bit.
Yeah. Number 10 instead of box-to-box type.
Yeah.
Players.
And then because you wouldn't, once you bought, because John Duran obviously comes on because he has to come on because he comes on every game. And you're like, well, you wouldn't have Ross Barkley, Rodgers, Watkins and Duran on the same pitch.
No.
That would start getting a bit weird. So it then made sense once he was like, well, I've already got Barkley here. So then therefore I've got more of a box-to-box guy. So I'm almost moving to a 4-4-2 with Duran. And I'm like, oh.
I mean, it just goes from a Villa perspective rather than FPL perspective. I mean, the amount of options he's got just to be able to move those things around.
And Leon Bailey was back.
Yeah.
So
Ramsey's doing a good job in there as well for them at the moment. Obviously, Tielemans in there. Yeah, they're all sort of very 8-10 heavy actually. Yeah. But they can mix and match how they need to.
And they got multiple competitions, and he's young.
Yeah.
So, like Emery's not an idiot. He's not going to completely abuse Rodgers forever. Um, he's still a good price, but this won't be the last time that he ends up with a 1 pointer.
Yeah. Maybe it's just tempering expectations. And to be honest, when he's 5 million, are you really overly fussed about it? And maybe just becomes a bench. He just becomes an option to bench, right? You just make sure he's an option to bench, and then you're fine. Like it's tough. I mean, I can see from your side, it's obviously tough having like a Semenyo as well, because you know
and a Rodgers.
You've got to play one of them, and people with like a Semenyo and a Dibbling, or a Rodgers and a Dibbling, like you have to play Rodgers, right? So it gets a bit more sticky there. But again, that means like if you're putting money into Salah, like if you're putting money into Salah and trying to get to Haaland, like you've got two of them at least. You can't have just one, like, unless you've got 4 or 5s across the defense.
Yeah, and nothing up front.
Yeah. What, do you need anything up front?
Well, so that's another good reason with the Solanke thing is if you want to have both, you can't have Solanke.
Yeah.
Realistically, Solanke's just killed the whole season because I had him game week 1, and that stopped the ability to have both, and then got me again.
Done. We should move to Arsenal, Liverpool. I don't think there's any other takes for Bournemouth really, like City next week and whatever. Game that's probably a little bit cagey than I thought it was going to be. Kind of fun though. I thought both teams were quite interesting. But
I mean,
I thought it was a better game of. I thought it was a better game of football than the graph gives it credit for.
Do you think it's a better? I would say around. I think it's a worse game of football than a 2-2.
No, I thought it was value for a 2-2. I thought it was all right for a 2-2.
Oh, I don't know about that. I thought it was two pretty defensively minded teams in general. Like these are the best two defenses in the league, and it felt like the best two defenses in the league were playing each other, and it definitely didn't feel. You could tell it wasn't a Klopp game. Even that second half, obviously, you've got the one big chance which happens at the end, but we should put some factors into that happens once they've had 2 defensive injuries plus Saliba not on the pitch. That it is pretty unlucky.
I think what's quite wild here actually is that if you look at because I don't know what the qualification. I thought 0.25 was the qualification for a big chance, but they gave Saka's as a big chance apparently. But all the goals came from big chances, all of them. Like there's no bangers from nowhere and like ridiculous goals
because they're too controlled because they're too good.
So as soon as they did find a weakness or there was a gap or they found themselves in some space, like that was it. It was like goal.
I mean, that Saka goal, the first one, was just like the quality was just.
I felt the same thing as the first with the Saka goal. As I felt like Robertson. I felt like that's the end of him. Like if there was a career-ending moment, it was just like, well, that's Robbo done.
I mean, it was double bad. The line was horrendous.
Yeah, because he'd already moved. He'd already dropped.
He dropped. He'd given him like when it went. You were like, well, he must be offside or something or close. And then first you were like, played it. He's dropped 6 yards on him. Like it was so bad as a defensive system. Like it was. Yeah, I mean, if I was Slot, I'd be absolutely livid about the positioning for him. And then he just rinsed him. Then you've got great set piece. Diaz. That's a good. I mean, it's good. It's just a good corner, isn't it?
Yeah, I was surprised because I didn't realize it was Diaz that flicked it on to start with.
Yeah,
because you just wouldn't expect to see him there. But yeah, good header.
Yeah, it does that near post. Trent literally every corner from that side just aims at near post. Never gets it anywhere else. And that's the only one that took the header. Everyone else just get heads out. Then. There's so many big guys. So when the set piece goes in for Arsenal, you just okay, that's what you do. Not much you can do about it.
Again, it's like Van Dijk Van Dijk's big toe out there, keeping him onside and silly stuff like that.
I mean, last 2 weeks they have been unlucky, Liverpool, in that you had Konate's big toe playing on
Yeah.
Jackson last week, and then you had and there was another one I saw this week where it's like people keep getting leave on side because of the stride. Like it's I don't know, but that's the rules. That's what it is. um, it's yeah, it's tough on them. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to know what the conversation Slots had with Darwin Núñez, but it's like a completely different person. Darwin Núñez has now played 280 minutes this season. 280 regular minutes, because actually quite a lot of times he's come off the bench, so he's had quite a bit of injury time to go on top of that. How many shots do you think Darwin Núñez has had in his
I
280 minutes?
I knew this question was coming. I don't know. 2?
4.
4? Okay.
4.
Yeah,
one of those outside the box.
He used to have that in a 20-minute cameo. Like, it's completely different. Although, did you see when he did pass it along to Salah, it did look like he almost fell over his own feet.
I think he's done 0.6 XG in 280 minutes.
It's mad.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird. What it really is interesting with Mo, because every single week I watch Liverpool and I think,
Hold on, mate. Can you hear me? Okay, hold on 1 second. I think people can hear me, but they can't hear you for some reason. Your sound is gone. Give us a second. Give us a second, because you'll be able to hear me, but you can't hear Baker. Where's that? Where's that technical difficulties? No, let's just bring it back to here. I don't know how to do this. Yeah, this is all good. This is all good. Hold on. Yeah, sounds on me, but not on you. Hold on. I'll get it. I'll get it back. I'll get it back. Oh yeah. Yeah. Definitely can hear me. I knocked something on my I did, yeah, but for some reason it shouldn't knock you out for some reason, but it did. I'm just trying to fix it. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. We just have to search for Baker again, and then there we go. See, now people can hear you.
We're back,
mate. 100% we're back. Of course we're back. 1 second.
What a cliffhanger. So I said,
Adam says very Spursy. Baker cut off in his stride. Yeah, they should be able to hear you now. Where were we? Let's go back to here. As you were, mate.
So
I can't remember where it was when you got cut off.
So I said, every week I think about Liverpool, I think about Mo, and I miss Klopp, and I just think the fun isn't so much there in the attack. The idea that they're going to score 4 or 5 doesn't feel like it's going to happen. Obviously, this is away at Arsenal and stuff, but just in general, it feels so controlled. It feels so disciplined, and Mo feels like he's just embodied it. Like he's such a pro that he's not having anywhere near the numbers that we've seen in previous season, but he is also having the numbers that you want, like, because this one, he still has a big chance he scores it, and because he's so disciplined, because he's not doing anything wrong, he gets top bonus. Like, he only gets 18 for the goal. It's not a winning goal. It's 18. but he ends up with 30 odd, 34, I think he ended up on. So he's ended up with a baseline of like 15, 16. Like he's doing nothing wrong. He's not taking weird pot shots. He's not losing the ball in bad areas and doing stuff. He's doing all the right things. You look last week and he scores a penalty and he does nothing apart from that attack-wise.
Yeah.
But he does a good assist. So he gets his assist, he gets his goal, he gets massive points. He's continually getting double digits. He's actually almost even more likely to be involved because of how disciplined they are, that it's almost certainly going to end up with him, as opposed to, like, previously you thought they could score 5. We know it. They scored 9 and he didn't have any involvement, but now his goal involvement's 70% for the season.
That's huge.
That is huge. Which just makes him a brilliant captaincy choice any week, because the second he scores, it's like, well, that's double digit.
Yeah.
He can have one chance and score, and now Haaland's got to immediately brace to be competing. And it's pretty similar with Saka.
Yeah.
It's pretty similar with Saka.
Because he was there as well when he's 30, I think he had.
Yeah, we don't moan about Saka's efficiency. In fact, we praise it. But funny enough, when I watch Mo, I've got such visions of explosiveness that when he's being efficient and just doing efficiency, being effective, getting his 10-pointers and getting out of there, for some reason, I don't have like a positive in my brain of this is elite FPLing.
Yeah.
But this is exactly what elite FPLing is.
Yeah.
He's doing fabulous job for them. And at some point he will brace. When he does, yeah, it's big. But if do you remember the season where whenever he scored a single one, he would not be in the bonus at all, would he?
Yeah. You needed to.
That's just so long gone.
Yeah. He's so much better. I think he's just getting wiser and wiser with his movements. Again, I think he wasn't great on the ball. Like, again, I don't think he was great on the ball, but the movement for that goal was just like incredible. I think you said it on Twitter about 10 seconds after I literally said it to my TV screen. It was like, wow. Like, the movement was just incredible. You saw him just immediately when he saw Darwin get the ball, he was just straight inside. And I've said it already, he saw similar kind of movements that on the ball, not great, but off the ball, his ability to make defenders not know where the hell he is, but his own team know where he is. And he's still a great finisher. Like, there wasn't even a shred of doubt that was going in. Like, there was zero. Like, if it was DCL, then you'd be like, well,
zero.
But yeah,
zero,
with
zero. It was in. It was just in. And going back to the Darwin thing, like, if Darwin's not hogging the XG,
then it's got to go to elsewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be Mo. It's going to feed him. Like, he's literally playing such a disciplined game.
But we haven't seen loads of that yet. Obviously, do we know how long Jota's injured for?
A few weeks, by the sounds of things. I don't think it's back for the international break. No.
So we might see. More from
one of the things about Mo this week. I know we talk about -4s, -8s, but if the big balls gamble is you do it obviously, and you captain Mo this week, against Brighton, and then everything's good, isn't it?
Then the conversation does then lead to Trent, I guess, because he gets the second assist, so to speak. He gets the corner that Diaz flicks on. He gets the pass to Darwin that he passed inside. Again, he gets 1 point, gets booked, and he doesn't get booked. He gets -1 for his goal conceded. Like, unless they clean, it just still doesn't feel great.
Oh,
still a lot of money.
I think Trent's a real ugly pick. I think he's a real ugly pick, but will he be real ugly forever? Who knows? Like, he's still.
But for 7 million, you don't want him to be like, you don't want him to be spiky, right? You want the spikes, but you want the spikes to be comforted by 5-6
Yeah.
points every couple of weeks. You don't want one. We haven't seen a spike yet. Not really. I think we had an 11-pointer maybe. And everything else has been 2s and 1s, apart from the times he's cleaned. He's like one attacking return all season. It's mad.
Yeah, well, look, how often are you going to score if your shots are always from 25 yards out
Yeah.
across your body? Do you know what I mean? Like he's actually got to almost hit it with the outside of his boot to get it into the top left corner. Like they always drag wide. That's very often. Then he's hitting in swingers, which he always hits the near post, and again, really difficult to score assists.
Yeah.
So all of those things are difficult, but there is a belief in the player, and I get it. Like I fully understand it. Do I think that Trent is essential? No, otherwise I wouldn't have sold him last week.
Yeah.
But hey, what do I know? I'm 3.5 million. You know what I mean? I can't say, oh look, I've sold him and I'm winning FPL. But I think Salah is significantly more essential than I think Trent is. I think Palmer is significantly more essential than I think is. I think Saka is significantly more essential than Trent is. That definitely is of my thinking. So I want to have at least 2 or 3 of these players. And the way in which you get it, I think it's either you sell Haaland and then you've got the ability to have maybe 2, maybe 3 power mids with Mbeumo probably alongside them, or you go a bit less and you have Trent. But as you said yourself, fixtures are good coming up. And none of us will still be surprised when Trent rolls out a 20-pointer.
No. I guess we're getting to the point where we hope by the time that happens, he's at like 5% ownership and no one cares. I think is what people are hoping for. But then people on him will be rocketing.
People on him will rocket. But there is, like, even for me this week, as soon as I saw him was only about 23, 24% owned, I was like, yeah, I'm right. That's not as bad.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's not as bad.
Right, let's rifle through the others. What have we got left? We're on to
let's do Brighton, because Liverpool obviously got Brighton up next. So we did City and then they've got Bournemouth next. So we do Brighton and Wolves.
So Wells back. Fine. Old man Welbs. Little massage. Away he goes. No problem.
Away he goes. As he said, it was just some bruising.
Weird, because he went to hospital for it. Did you see that? He went to hospital and everyone waited around for him and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, because you'd have to do a scan, wouldn't they? They don't immediately do a scan. True. If you land on your back difficult, they're going to do a scan.
Yeah, fair.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just what they do. So, yeah, fine. Anyway, he's back. He's still very good. Fixtures are not good for the next couple, so we're not buying him. We're not buying any Brighton boys because of the fixtures over the next couple of weeks. Brighton. So I think Brighton are fantastic at pressing. I think that when you look at there's a lot of chances here, but the majority of their good chances, they all came from stealing the ball. They didn't come from build-up. They all came from bad pass, intercepted, in. Steal the ball, turnover, in. Almost everything they did that was good in this game was steal, in. As it was the thing that lost them or got them the draw at the end was the same.
Yeah.
Stole it, 4-1.
I couldn't believe that when I saw that.
One of the worst things you've ever seen. A 4-1 in injury time, and you pass it to the one guy who's not even a defender. He was a midfielder. Doyle was the only one there.
Yeah. Who then passes it to the guy that scores.
Genuinely incredible. But because they push so hard on that press, what can happen is when they played Tottenham beat that press early on and you were in on them. And I think that is important for when they play Liverpool. Liverpool invite the press. That's part of the slot stuff. Now, that might mean by that invitation that Brighton do well and they nick the ball off and they might do the things they did in this at the start of the game. But if Liverpool beat that press, so for example, Trent, if he beats that press and goes over it, he could easily do a 50, 60-yard assist. I think we know the beneficiary. We saw it today with Salah when they beat the press and get over the top. All it takes is one, and suddenly Mo score. So that's potentially good for Liverpool, potentially not so good maybe defensively. What we also see with the teams that do this hard press and go quick is that they drop off after 60, 70 minutes. We have our team that love to do that ourselves at home. At home, Tottenham regularly press the crap out of everyone for 60, 70 minutes and die.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what happened here in this game is as soon as this hits about 70 minutes onwards, they can't keep up the level of press what they're keeping. Wolves suddenly started going, okay, we'll hit a few here. And obviously the Ferguson goal is actually against the running play.
Yeah.
But they just kept going on it.
They're still not. I mean, these chances obviously the scale. Scale makes a big difference here. These chances aren't very big. They're all pretty small. So they get a few shots away, but it doesn't look like they're really sort of causing Brighton any problems, any sort of serious problems. A few little pot shots and whatever, but there's nothing here that really causes a problem until it starts bouncing around in that box and it drops to 8-0. Now the Cunha goal, I think, is just that's a pure bad luck. That's one of those moments where you just sort of go
stupid error and then lucky goal, really, and it hits Van Heck and flies into the corner.
Yeah, and it's all coming from set pieces. I mean, those chances near the end are like Cunha and Dawson basically. Are the main ones, the main beneficiaries of those. Santiago Bueno as well. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know how to chance
their arm, didn't they? They sort of had to chance their arm with it.
Yeah, of course. Also, we're game stating it. Yeah, of course.
A little bit, yeah.
But is that good? I mean, so then from a Wolves perspective, like, is the run? I mean, the run's just there. You just have to get them in. You just have to find your way to one or two.
I don't think you have to get them in, but I think there's good reasons to do so. I mean, Cunha just as a player, like when I watch Cunha, I think there's two players he reminds me of when I watch him. From the past, Berbatov, he reminds me a lot of Berbatov in the way that he plays. In that he's not really a striker. He's a baller that happens to score the odd goals. And he's actually reminds me quite a little bit of Palmer in how he plays.
Okay.
Like he's just got an element of swagger about him. The way he finishes, the way he drops in. His baseline is 14, mate. He's a striker in this game.
That's a lot. That's high.
That's not just a lot. That's
okay.
Absurd.
It's not just a lot. It's obscene. But it'd be shots on target. Should be new stuff with shots on target and stuff like that as well. Getting fouled.
And he played like he had four. He created 4 key passes in this game.
Yeah.
He takes free kicks. He's the best crosser in the team. He's got a big lump up top that often gets on the end of him. He's got so many avenues to points, Cunha.
Yeah.
Takes pens, takes some set pieces. This is what I say about the Palmer thing. Takes pens, takes some set pieces, best crosser in the team, best striker in the team. Oh, yeah, it's all them. And he's 6.5 million.
Yeah.
Like he's just it's very hard for him in some ways if they score for him to blank because he's the best assister and best scorer. Whereas, I mean, obviously, I think everyone's fantastic because I've got DCL. But when I look at him, I'm like, yeah, he's got everything you want as an old-fashioned sort of glue guy. The guy you could just leave him and just keep him. Him and Wood. You look at it and you think him and Wood, just leave him. What more do I want to do with him? Got pens, talisman, best player in their team. Manager loves them.
Yeah. 3 cheat forwards, power midfield, do what you can with the defence and move on.
Yeah, or even just like if you have Haaland and obviously the two cheapos, then you can definitely afford you can afford two 10 millions easily, and maybe a couple of premium defenders.
Yeah. Okay.
I
I
know what you're
mean,
saying about
yeah.
the Solanke thing. It doesn't make a huge amount of sense, really. The Solanke thing
No.
doesn't.
No sets. Probably not on pens. Doesn't shoot. Few assists. Assists may come because of where he's
And
playing. But
one winger's
didn't.
just greedy as hell. The other winger's an elite finisher,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
on
So
the
you don't need
pens.
it. Yeah, I think. Yeah. So people are saying Solanke to Cunha. Yeah, I mean, look. I mean, what the fixtures are, right? They've had 9 games and they've had an absolute horror show because they've played basically the 9 best teams in the league.
Yep.
Let's be quite frank about that. So they've got Palace, Southampton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Everton, West Ham, Ipswich, Leicester. Like next 8 games. Like that
And
run.
and those teams that he's played, so even in those games, Kuna's had a baseline of 14.
Yeah.
That makes it even more ridiculous, Kuna's baseline.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Cool.
Good.
3 more to go.
Where you want to go?
You need a new striker.
I mean, this is the thing on this, right? People are. I've seen people on Twitter today saying, "Look at DCL's fixture run. Still, you got to have him." What What if Daesh is just thinking what us DCL owners are thinking, which is
He's crap.
he's crap
Play
and Beto
better.
scores.
Yeah, because it's not like his fixtures have been bad. Like he's had good fixtures,
He's had good fixtures.
and the
And
football side has to cut. The football side will come first for these guys.
this game against Southampton away on the weekend, it's enormous.
Yeah,
He might just play Beto.
yeah. I mean, it's not. It shouldn't really be a case of like I'm going to give this game to DCL so he can get his confidence up. This needs to be I need to score 3 goals, and especially if McNeil's injured, like they're going to be pushing hard to get him back involved because if they've hardly created anything here after he's gone off. Granted,
They've hardly created it, but just in general, like it is. I don't know. Like it, I don't know. I just watched them. Everton played in it. I was like, I just. Well, Fulham were just a better team. I just thought Fulham the whole game were like, yeah, they're the better team. When Fulham went forward, you kind of knew what was happening. It all made sense. And you're like, I don't know what's going to happen here. He definitely can play. McNeil's like not sure now whether he's a winger or a 10 or anything. Like he's turns on the box with a header, which you were like, Jesus, what's that all about?
I don't think it ever starts well when I have no idea why Daesh is still playing Michael Keane. Like some of the substitutions were really weird in this game. Like they get the goal and like he'll claim that this was a good decision and whatever else. But he brings off DCL to put Michael Keane up front. Like literally, like if someone's telling you to have
Yeah.
like if DCL's a good pick, Sean Dyche brought off DCL to put Michael Keane up front. That's actually what happened in the game, and he brought Beto on after that.
I mean,
So I mean, yeah,
how did Jack Harrison make 60 odd minutes in this game? Like he was genuinely like a gnawed. I was bloody watching this whole game because I had Mikalenko and DCL. Not I've got seen Raps in the chat. I've got a pod with Raptor tomorrow, and he got 15 points from Eight Nuri and Kuno, while I got 3 or 4 points from Mikalenko and DCL. Like
yeah,
so after for like the same money basically, and I was like, oh god.
yeah,
It's yeah, all of it, just
yeah,
all of it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't want it.
yeah.
Um, will it will I sell him this week? Probably not. I wish I had a bit more money. Like I don't think people should sell him to that's a good point actually. I might be able to sell him. might still be able to send him to Wood.
Wood's 6'4".
No, I can't get it. I can't get it.
Wood's definitely 6'4".
Damn you. I'm too tight on money. I can't get there. Because it, or maybe I can. Maybe I can.
Whether you're
0.1 short.
0.1 short.
You bastard.
Nightmare.
I can't do it. Can't do it
Nightmare.
otherwise. Otherwise I would.
Is there anything on Fulham here? Just that is this good enough? Is this good enough against Everton? I mean, it's
away from home, innit, to be fair.
I mean, they've only had this is their third worst XG performance of the season. The other two games were away from home, so probably fine.
I thought that was still solid defensively. I think like Anthony Robinson still was good in the game. Like I thought it was. Pereira limped off. That'd be interesting to see how that impacts them. Smith Rowe could have had some points. He did have some points, but he could have had a lot more points. Really, he had a couple of very good chances. But it's still the same thing with Smith Rowe that he goes off early. So you're like, nah.
Yeah.
I don't think the McNeil thing, it didn't look serious. I just thought they needed the legs to just keep running at the end, and he probably didn't have it.
Fair enough. That's good.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure
we'll find out. We'll find out. We'll get something. Okay. Move on.
I've probably got to play both of them again next week, haven't I? Gabriel injured.
Yeah, I said we had 3 games left. We've still got 3 games left. How is that even possible?
Let's do Parma. Let's do Chelsea.
Cool. I mean, most of the games have been you today, but this is all you because I didn't watch this game at all.
Yeah, I mean, I felt I watched this game more than I watched the Tottenham game because
probably a good plan.
I had Chelsea on the telly, Tottenham on the iPad. You can't stop watching Cole Palmer. Like he is. I just think he's the best player. Possibly one of the best players I've ever seen. Genuinely one of the best players I've ever seen. It was his ability to drop deep when he decides he wants to drop deep, the ability to move forward when he moves forward. It's actually only the team that holds him back to an extent. Like the number of times he was in good positions, but Madueke, because he's just out on the right and has got no right foot, doesn't play the ball to him. Like the number, you'd actually almost feel like he should get annoyed more with the team because of the amount of times that he's in good positions and not found. I saw one time he had a little strop, but other than that, the number of times that they just needed to find him and he would have just scored. But scores early, gets VAR'd out.
Yeah,
off a pretty tight decision. So ref didn't, the liner didn't flag it. But it's the right decision, obviously. So so that's what it is.
And then the pass. I mean, I saw the Jackson goal. The pass through was just ridiculous. Ridiculous, actually. That's just insane.
Ridiculous. Just insane. It's genuinely just insane.
But we did say that like Pedro Neto was going to improve, was going to make him look good. You know, he was good the other day, and like, it's helpful having that player.
The second half, when Mudryk came on, it was like, that was such a drop off. It was such a drop off, like from Neto when they came in. It was suddenly like, oh God. But just him in general, like it's a bit similar to Salah actually. That you watched him, you were like, he was fantastic. But actually, if you look at the stats, because obviously the VAR goal gets taken off, so that's not on his XG.
Yeah.
There's not actually a huge amount there that you're seeing. But you watch him and you were like, this is just an unbelievable player. Obviously, Reece James is back. So Reece James was taking the corners on the left, they took in swingers both sides. So
Reece James played 90 as well.
Had no choice. No choice, because they made 4 substitutions, but across 3 different things.
Oh,
so
right,
therefore it was like they said, genuinely, there was a moment where you could almost tell that sort of like there was like the camera pointed straight at Reece James' face, and he sort of looked over the bench, and they were like,
nah.
Sorry, mate. We're messing this up here. You're playing. And then, honestly, though, Reece James at the end, I thought he'd scored an own goal, which would have been such a Reece James moment. Unbelievable diving header to header it over for a corner. But he was honestly, like Palmer was just ridiculous. The goal that he scores, it looks bad on Pope because it's near post
Mm.
but he waits long enough that Pope's like, where he could go anywhere. You've seen it. He could go top, he could go top right, he could go across him. He's obviously, what you have to bear in mind is that he scored the goal off that left channel in the bottom right that
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
got chalked off. So Pope's itching that way, but he's
yeah.
so smart, he just booms it. And it takes a beautiful bounce just before it gets to Pope and is straight in. He's just like, I know we call him Cole Palmer, but he is just so cold in front of goal that he makes the keepers look stupid.
The only, yeah, and that's one of the big things is I hate is I can't find a different photo of him. Like every photo is just like this. Like every single photo is so
He just
annoying.
don't care. Even when he scored, he was just like, yeah, whatever, mate.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Just get on, let's do this again.
Oh, did I hear more comparisons? Didn't he say something about Zola?
Same deal.
Fucking hell,
Yeah.
man.
Like someone called him Zola and he was like, yeah, I think I had him on FIFA as an icon. Like, oh dear.
Like he's either
Mate,
got no
this
idea or he's just arrogant as fuck, man.
he's arrogant as fuck, and he's got every right to be
Yeah.
because he's just absurd. Um, I still think he's like a bigger priority than any other player in this game because he's got no other competitions to really worry about. It's just this.
Yeah.
Um, but as a team, I mean, defensively, they were terrible. Chelsea were terrible defensively. Obviously, Newcastle got no Gordon,
Yeah.
and they just ripped him apart. Every time they went forward, Isak's ended up with what 1.4 XG in this game.
Yeah. I mean, like the goal's basically won because he's standing on the goal line when it goes in.
Yeah,
But he definitely shouldn't be standing on a goal line when it goes in.
but
Because it
and
was just a
James,
cross, wasn't it? It was just a
yeah,
cross.
James had one off the line from Isak as well, um, in there.
Oh yeah, yeah. I saw that on So Rare actually. Yeah, that annoyed me.
But just every time they went forward, you were like, I think they're going to score here. It's
Yeah.
yeah, defensively they're still a problem. They're definitely still a problem. Um, yeah, Neto, Jackson, and Palmer. That's a good trio. Madueke, I mean, he's a handful.
Yeah.
He's an absolute handful, which means that still creates a lot of space for him. But um, yeah, I mean, if they buy any more in January, if they do anything else different for them, if they just keep getting better, yeah, obviously because they played James left back this game, and Gusto played right
Yeah.
back. I'm amazed without Cucurella back, but I just think eventually they put James right back and they play Cucurella left back, and potentially that only makes Cole Palmer better if Reece James is going down the right hand side and putting those balls in that Madueke wasn't able to be. Palmer was in so many good spaces, and then we just buy Reece James.
Yes. So we don't know what kind of Reece James we're going to get because it's been a season and a half since he's been fit enough to actually play a decent number of games. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, mate. Let's not get ahead of ourselves on Reece James.
What about Isak? What about Isak? So people that are selling, obviously, people that are selling Haaland and doing the seller move, they can really afford any striker. Would you spend the extra money on Isak over Acuna or Wood?
It's just a bad week to do it. Like this week is just a bad week to do it, isn't it? Arsenal. Like after that, I mean, like we talk about how well Forest have started. Like, is that a good week then to bring him in away at Forest? And then it's fine, and then you go find West Ham, Palace. Cool, you get a couple of fixtures, and then bang, it's Liverpool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's going to be better entry point later on. I mean, like there's no real really good run for them either, to be honest, until you get to like 21, and then it's like, well,
it's no good.
We're not talking about 21 right now, so I would say no at the moment.
It still just makes me think if you're going to come off Haaland. My thing to come off Haaland is because you're playing yourself towards the Salah, Saka, and Palmer team, and they're going to be your boys because you can captain any of them any week.
Yeah.
Any week you like.
Yeah.
I looked at watched this game here, and I was like, I could happily captain Palmer in any week and be very happy about it because he just shits points and his baseline's absurd because he does incredible
Everything.
things the whole
Does
time.
everything.
I almost feel like he knows it, that he's doing the stuff as well. There was a period at about 80 minutes. It was almost like, you know how I'm just an absolute thirsty nerd for the bonus. So I
Sure.
looked at it and he was sure.
Sure.
But he was 2 points behind Jackson for top bonus. Right. And there was a period, it was about 60 yards out. And he just stood there and he just went tap, 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 tap,
You're
tap,
like,
tap,
pass
tap,
success,
tap.
pass success.
He must have done 9 passes in 10 seconds. Literally, it was just tap, 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 tap. And I almost, it would have only made it funny if he just sort of checked his watch. Yep, top bonus. Thanks. Because literally, he did that, and then he put one cross in, which was skied over the bar. Key pass. Thanks very much. Top bonus. He literally went. He suddenly went from that to top 35.
Incredible.
Thanks so much.
Incredible. Let's get the last 2 games out of the way. We're an hour and a half in now. Let's get the last 2 games. We'll go to West Ham United first, which
we don't know much about this, mate. There were 2 other games on. Like we have to just.
There's 2 other games. One was on TV and the one was Tottenham. So, probably not a penalty. I think it's probably about as much as we can take from it.
You know, when something's such a bad decision, the more you look at it, the more you start thinking maybe it is a penalty.
Well, this is first of all, I was like, oh, where's the contact? And then I was getting to that. I was getting to that point where I was like, well, maybe it is. Maybe it is just Delict coming out and just being a bit clumsy. But then I'm like, well, actually, it's just 2 guys just running into each other in the box. It's kind of just that's what it is. That's all it is. It's just nothing. It's just complete nothing. And
it's completely nothing.
The thing about it, I don't know whether it wasn't given on the field, was it? Because it went to VAR and then it was given. That's the bit I don't understand. Like, if it's not given on the field, then what the hell are we doing? It's got to be.
Well, it is that bit where they're not doing the clear and obvious, because obviously you look at back to the last game, but obviously Dan Burn does pull and Nkunku down, but it's soft as hell, but they give it. Now, last season, if they give that and it's a soft pen, it's not a clear and obvious error. It's not a clear and obvious error, is it?
Yeah.
It's that they're re-refereeing it and saying, actually, I don't think that's a sustained thing, and actually, I don't think you should give that. So he sends the person and they don't give it. And you're like, oh, okay, so this is a different directive now. Because it's definitely not a clear and obvious error. But if they did say the thing of saying, what you should do is look at that, and he didn't get the ball, but he did actually lunge and they did actually clash legs, and therefore... Is that
it's more of so
thing? And
so
that's
I guess
I can only assume that's the reason why they've done it.
It's because he didn't see it, I guess. Because it's got to be because he didn't see it, right? That's got to be the reason. Like, I know people are just going to say, no, not a penalty, but let's try and be logical about it. That has to be the reason. The VAR's gone to the ref and gone saying we think there might have been something in the box. Did you see anything? And the ref's gone, no, I didn't see anything. What about Delict and Danny? Didn't see it, couldn't see the contact, couldn't see anything. Okay, cool. How about you go and have a look at it and let us know what you think?
Which, even if that, you'd be like, okay, that makes sense. But as soon as he starts going over to it, you think he's going to turn this over here, because it's almost leading, isn't it?
It is so leading. But if that's the conversation, I think that's the right way it should be done. Like, if you don't see it, go and see it, but then referee it. But because I looked at it like a few times, like it's not even a pen.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
As it was, it's a stupid decision, but it should have been academic. Because Man United followed on from being very good at Brentford with very, very good for 60 minutes in this game.
Mm.
And if you're very, very good in any game for 60 minutes, our pal Danny said at half time, before the goal, he said we should be 4 up here, and the fact that we're not, we're going to concede in a minute.
Yeah, I saw they also had chances. Garnacho hit the bar or the post, and then Dalot misses complete open goal.
How Bruno didn't get any points is
that's exactly.
Like the miss himself, the miss from Garnacho, the miss from Dalot, all of those are him, and he's got nothing out of it. So, like, Garnacho and Bruno are good options. They are good options still. It's not a surprise though. Like 8 goals in 9 games.
Yeah,
there's a lot of players that are relatively. They don't have a huge amount of good finishes, of over XG finishes. Casemiro he always just looks so cool in front of goal, doesn't he? He's come up with some really important goals all his career, but
Just like right place, right time.
he loves it. It's big boy. So it doesn't surprise you when he's the person that gets the equaliser. Yeah. It's definitely not a deserved winner for West Ham, but if you go long enough and don't score, there's always a chance you're going to concede.
Yeah. Cool.
Dallow's miss. How is Dallow's miss not more XG?
It is. Let me just track it. It's game shots. Hold on. Where are you,
Guess
Diogo?
it's bobbling.
Point,
it's wide.
0.384.
0.384.
0.384 for an open goal.
It's basically not too different to Salah's goal.
Yeah, something like that. Well, yeah, him and Casemiro, Salah and Casemiro were 0.31. So yeah, it's about the same.
Not too dissimilar.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Felt a lot worse than that.
Yeah, definitely. And then Jasper appears for the last one.
Mbeumo, Wissa.
7 big chances. Crazy. Like literally,
Brentford, baby.
Literally, there was no other team that created any more big chances than Brentford did. They created 7. City created 4. What were the other ones? Forest created 4. Oh, and Ipswich created 4. Ipswich actually did create 4. So, you know, that did look like it though. Like the first 20 minutes, or not the first 20 minutes. Sorry, the first, between half an hour and half time, like Brentford looked really, really open. Like in the midfield, they just look like there's no midfield at all.
Yeah, they are open
and got really
open.
Stretched. But yeah. I mean, how Damsgaard doesn't come out of this game with 15 points, I don't know either. Like, because he doesn't get the assist for the own goal, which he probably should. Because because I again,
I don't know why it's an own goal.
Nor do I. Shots on target, hits the keeper, still going towards the goal. Like it's a goal, not an own goal. It's a goal. But
he's had less of an impact, Clark, than Van Heck had on Kunas.
Well, yeah, yes,
but
yeah,
it's I don't get it. I don't get it, mate. But I don't get a lot of these things. No. 4 shots for Wissa, 4 shots for Mbeumo. Do we have to? Do we just call him Mbeumo now? Because everyone calls him Mbeumo now.
No, absolutely not.
You want to stick with Mbeumo?
Well, because his name's actually Mbeumo, but you don't say that. You don't. We just don't say the M.
Says Mbeumo now.
Yeah, apart from him though. This is the thing.
Should we call him Brian?
Yeah, let's call him Brian.
Call him Brian.
Let's call him Brian.
We're going to call him Brian from now on.
Okay.
More high ground. If you take the pen out from Brian, it's actually like back-to-back relatively limited games from him. Because Damsgaard, like you said, Damsgaard's playing really close to the 9 now.
Mm.
So you've got Wissa back as number 9, and you've got Damsgaard right up alongside him. So realistically, he's a winger with pens. He's not taking the set pieces that he was taking previously as well. So, I mean, it sounds ridiculous.
But
no, it sounds ridiculous to say after he scored 15 points, is he slightly worse than he was previously? Because he's just still incredible value for 7 million.
I just think you don't overthink it, right? The fixtures are too good. The fixtures are too good to even think about overthinking it. I mean, I think a double up, as much as I kind of just wanted to double up, I think even double up now is is perfectly viable to do so. So I think you've got like, if I could switch all my 3 strikers from Haaland, João Pedro, and Solanke to Wissa, Cunha, and Wood, like.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like Band-Aid.
You would.
Would.
Pardon the pun, but you would.
It's like, it definitely feels like Band-Aid ripping off.
Like I say, I think there is that, in my mind, there was always like, I wouldn't do the double up. But I think it's not like Brian's playing number 9, is it, anymore? Like, he is just playing right wing. The Wissa's there and he's the striker. The only thing we don't know it's because of this game in the game state of where it was, in that it was tight, really, as a score, maybe not as an
Yeah.
XG versus XG. Is I wonder if Whistle would have played as many minutes as he did.
Yeah. Also got a red card in here as well somewhere. You need to,
Yeah.
last 15 minutes. So.
But I do wonder if Whistle would have played as many minutes as he did, and maybe Brian might have done his old go up top at the end.
Maybe.
We don't know that because the game state this was in. From an Ipswich perspective, these were the type of games that we expected when we spoke to Ivan at the start of the season, the sort of ding dong, back and forth, games that could finish 4-3. This is the sort of things that we thought would happen quite often.
Yeah.
Now, they've got a lot of injuries, so I think that might be a big reason as to why that has happened. But it's definitely something to monitor, because this is good. This is what we want to see. And as much as I say, yes, you could sell Solanke, if these injuries persist and they start playing like this, and then they come to Tottenham in game week 11, that's a very good game. That's a very good game.
As long as he shoots. As long as he shoots. Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't shoot in game week 11, he doesn't make it through anyone's international break.
Absolutely not. No, agreed. Anything else? I mean,
we done?
Yeah, I think we're done. I mean, I'm not going to throw Delap into the mix here, but like he's scoring. Like he's just scoring.
Yeah, but he lost his place.
Which I think is
wild,
lost
his place
as well. But yeah, just to note that he is there scoring goals.
Yeah.
I just did that quick move. I obviously haven't confirmed anything. I get 9.8 million to put back into my team elsewhere if I make those moves.
Which of the moves?
Solanke, Haaland, João Pedro to Wood, Wissa, Cunha. 9.8 million, and I've already got Son, so I can take basically Eze to Salah, and then
so that's -8. We're now -8.
Yeah, we're -8. We're almost there, but I can't get up to Palmer unless I bring down Trent. So that's what I say. It's like it was either like roll or -12, and that could be a -16 if I get rid of Trent and get Palmer in for Rodgers, for example.
Roll on Thursday night.
Can't wait.
It's gonna get spicy.
Can't wait, mate. And shout out to everyone here. 500 of you here. Well done.
Wow.
And I want to give a massive shout out to you, Baker, first, because 24 hours ago, this is an hour after your bedtime. So you're still going strong.
Exactly.
You're still going strong.
It is exactly 10:20.
Yeah, 10. It's an hour after your bedtime. I never get anything. If I send a message to Baker at 10:14, he'll pick it up. If I send it at 10:16, I'll see him in the morning. That's
Phone's
how it
off.
works. Phone's done. But no, thank you very much for joining us. Yeah, I hope you had a good game week. If you triple captain Haaland, you were very unlucky, but that's not the worst triple captain you'll ever play. Trust me. And yeah, thanks again for joining us. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out, and we will see you Wednesday or Thursday this week.
See you Thursday. I've got to do this again tomorrow.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and you're heading over to go and speak to Ross, aren't you? For FPL
I'm going to do that an in studio pod, which is
amazing.
Weird.
Amazing.
And I've got to try not swear.
I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
You have to check with Ross. But
check with Ross. I think that's out Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So shout out. So listen out for that. Share as you want to for our pod as well. And well done to all the winners of the giveaways. I'll contact you. Well done to Dan for his whiskey. I'll send that to you. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe, join the Patreon, do all that stuff. And we'll see you Thursday. Cheers.